This is the ventral side of the heart, and this is the dorsal side of the heart. As you can see, I removed a little bit of the visceral pericardium right here. Remove a little bit of the visceral pericardium in there, and then you can see the myocardium, the exposed myocardium right there. So next I need to identify the right atrium. So if I am looking at the heart, the right side is going to be on my left. So this would be the right atrium, this would be the left atrium, this would be the right ventricle, and this would be the left ventricle. In my opinion, the aorta looks like it would be this sort of opening right there. And then the pulmonary artery is kind of more difficult for me to find. I'm thinking this could be the pulmonary artery right here. I'm not quite sure about that. Let's see, so if I'm looking at the dorsal surface of the heart, I'm going to put my probe through the superior and inferior vena cava, which I think would be right here. So as you can see, the probe kind of slides perfectly through that. This would be the superior side, and this would be the inferior side. So as I would cut through, as I would cut through the superior and inferior vena cava, all the way down, adipose tissue is very dense. Open up the heart so you can see the different atria. Okay, so this seems to be the right atrium there, and then this would be the tricuspid valve, and then these would be the cusp of the tricuspid valve. I didn't do a very good job of cutting it open, but as you can see, it does go down into that ventricle. So I continue cutting down, which I already have done, and this is the apex of the heart. So I could not find the opening of the pulmonary trunk. Let me see, I believe that these were the pulmonary valves, because they're a little more distinct than some of the other tricuspid valves, so I think that might be that. I'm not quite sure, but it does look like that to me. So that would be what I would call the pulmonary valve in its cusps. The bicuspid valve would be in here, or the mitral valve would be in here with its cusps. The wall of the left ventricle is a lot thicker than the wall of the right. As you can see, this wall is very thin, and this one is very, very thick and very dense on this side. So in my opinion, this seems to be the aorta. Wait, let me see. Okay, so I do believe that this one is the aorta. What I did is I stuck my finger through it actually, and it just went right, it led right down into this ventricle. So I'm assuming that this is the aorta, which is extremely thick. It's covered in a lot of adipose tissue, and it's very hard for me to get my finger in it because it is very thick and it's just not breaking at all. The other kind of pulmonary trunk, and that is very thin, could be easily kind of broken through. As for the aorta, it's very thick, very dense vessel. I'm really not sure where the coronary arteries are. I'm assuming they would be right around in this sort of area on the outside, but I'm not quite sure. To my understanding, these are the pulmonary vessels. This one is the aorta, and then let's see. This one is the superior and inferior vena cava. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's about it for the major vessels of the sheep heart.